Here we have ICPT. Yes, we have a 60-minute chart on this big biotech. We've covered it extensively. I will let you know there was some headline news today, and the stock dropped $92.47 in today's range on the trading session. We are still $68.73 off of the high range in our platform. And when we made the low of 386, we bounced $23.74 off of the intraday low. This is a 60-minute chart. Yes, there's a lot of controversy around it, and this is what a 60-minute chart looked like. I would be happy to show that this is probably the most volatile stock within the ranges, even more so than Google or Priceline or any of them. And why do I say that? It's because if you could literally lose your whole account in one trade on this thing. You have to be very, very good. You have to understand that with today's reversal moving forward now, starting tomorrow, is we're going to see how much of that intraday low of 386 holds, or do we get a test and come back down? And or the most important thing is, look at, we already know one thing for sure beyond a reasonable doubt. They're looking at ICPT and its stock price movement, and they're also looking at the people who owned it prior to its big move. The stock had moved $430 to the upside of $497. Then it had a very miserable time in the stock, and it pulled way back. And the same institutional people, it cost a lot of money to trade it. And I want you to see the results right here and right now for our MMTs. And they understand what's in the black box here. Math doesn't lie. Each one of these movements were 7.50, which equaled a 1/4 dollar movement delta. And basically, you can see the current trend ratio is minus 52.50 off of that high. And the total intraday trend ratio low, minus 2.54, is 2.5 deltas at 1/4 delta movement. That equals $76.26 on that particular line. The trend ratio altogether was really good. Three deltas, three 1/4 deltas at 12.3 quarter equaled $92.47. So, having said all of that, we will be aggressive players that when ICPT will go up to a high on the intraday level, they will reverse. We're not talking about a headline event. You could get a headline event that could cause some upside volatility. What I can tell you is that in pre-market at 5 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, the stock was going up and down faster than you could keep up with it. And they actually gapped this bar. They knew what was happening because you can tell what the low of this bar was right here. I'm going to show you. That volatility low in pre-market got to 456. Now, having said that, let's take a look at this one here now. This red bar. That had a close of 448. It also, let's make sure that we have the right one, which we do. We opened at 475. The high was 484, and the low was 456, and it closes at 460 in the other time frames. So basically what they did was they jacked it in pre-market, and then this is what it actually looks like. 480 to 480 on the high up here, because that's where it was in pre-market. And notice that that's roughly almost 100 points. In pre-market, it was even a little bit higher. This is when the market opened up. So basically, you got $92.47. That's probably one of the most volatile stocks you will ever see in your lifetime. And not only that, there's only selected people that know how to trade it. And those are the market makers, the big boys on the floor. And the thing about it is that with this kind of volatility, there is nothing right now that can compare to this. And we've been covering it since we discovered it a couple of years ago. And yes, they have a cure, they say, but guess what? There's going to be a rude awakening when the FDA is going to send them back and bring us some more data. The liver is a very complicated organ that all of us humans have, male or female. Therefore, if they could get to a place in time that had enough data to support the price with that kind of treatment for the liver, it would be one of its own kind. And yeah, and then the stock could go up to $875. But they don't have anything to sell yet, okay? And, so a lot of hype, a lot of fluff is in ICPT. We just want you to know that using the options is a good way to trade it. It costs a lot of money to trade it. However, it gives you, if you are right, it pays you a large amount of money. And a stop market order would have to be in play. Once again, this is a big, well better. You can see right back over here, and I'm just going to show you right here in some of these instances where we were at certain lows at certain different times on ICPT, because I'm going to show you where this movement, after ICPT hit $497, it pulled back here to this low area, and this low area in here was 296 was the open, the high was 301, but we went straight up to the moon, right up here. And the high of that bar on 210, 2014, the high on that bar, now check it out. The high on this bar was 382. Yes, it was. Now, as we move on, we had pullbacks and whatnot, and this is what it looked like during these time frames down here in February. Now, having said that, let's go ahead and blow up another piece of the chart, and here was the actual side of that gap and volatility, that reversal, then going straight up to the moon on all of these breakouts based on super hype. That's what it was. It got support, and they popped that thing. And the high here, like I said, in this particular bar, the high of that bar was 374 on that. And what I would like to show very clearly is we can understand by looking at the MMT platform, it's all coded mathematically. So when we get right back over here, this is where the volatility comes in play. That high there, believe it or not, was exactly 484.99. 484.99. This high today on March 17th in regular market hours was 478. And from 478, we hit a low, like I said, we hit a low of this particular bar was a low of 386. 60, 120, and 180 minutes later, we almost had a $100 reversal, and then we've had a bottom rectangular 60-minute consolidation. As far as I'm concerned, It's going to be a great trading vehicle once again because the resistance levels are going to roll right over. And that was a stock that drops $92. Yes, $92 off of the high. What a big and exciting stock this has been for the bigger dollar community people that do like to engage in relatively high dollar risk. The risks are extremely high. And people don't know how to keep a stop market order. You can literally get killed. And once again, we're going to monitor what the low and what the consolidation is from this big $92 reversal here. And we're happy to update everybody. And yes, half bar, 60-minute bar at 427 will be tomorrow's resistance level. The other thing is that this bar right here, 60-minute bar, that half bar is 411. And having said that, 411, we had a last print was 407 of 2.1 million shares, minus the negative flow was only 30 million. That's it. And so the trade is a great vehicle to make money. It's technically broke. Everything is when you drop $92. You can look at our prior updates that we have done on ICPT. Go to stock market funding, type in the search box. You're going to find all of it right there. And we had big put options on it because we do. And you know, the risk in biotech is about one of the most riskiest things that you can get involved with. But then when they work, they're probably one of the most volatility upside, and the rewards can be substantial. And the risk, both the upside and the downside, have equal amount of risk, you know, in biotech. Anyway, I'm going to conclude ICPT. What a big day. It gave all of it up right back to 386. And we're going to be all on it tomorrow. Stay tuned for the next update.